You know, right out the gate, spreading the map a little bit, the attack side of Envy. Actually, right away, we see Pure moving down into the C-Long cubby, which absolutely would be an issue for Victor, who's actually going to back off a little bit, but...
Well, they hear that, right? Pure hears that. He's got a decent idea, and you're already seeing Weeded pull back over towards C, but it looks like they were just going to grab that ult orb and back off. They did... Yeah, it looked like that was a fake. Astra Smoke at the bottom of C, but they went ahead and they pull off. They're going to rotate elsewhere along the map, potentially right into where Thwyfo's playing.
Using that Owl drone a little bit as a misdirection, clearing out long A, just making sure, and it's going to draw two rotators over. So 3 members of XSET on the A site right now, but the attack is poised at the front of Bravo site. So moving in, curveball comes out. Victor takes a site. A little bit of a team blind going on there, but no contact yet, Doug.
No, and it really seems like XSET's just kind of patiently waiting this out. They aren't fully sending onto the site. You also remember, keep an eye on Pure and the space that he took away at the beginning of the round and what he's going to be able to do with that. You do have a couple of players from Envy who are checking out for those flanks, checking out for those lurks, specifically in FNS and Caboose. But now you see XSET funneling onto the site. Victor's going to be the first to drop. Mummy follows shortly thereafter, XSET do have control of the site, and all the remaining members of Envy are just continuing to drop like flies. I love the aggression that we're seeing from XSET, really sticking the matter to Envy, where FNS is left alone. Now, FNS had a chance at something there, but the defuse is going to come through anyway. XSET take the pistol.
Wow, and you just said it, Doug, but the aggression coming out from XSET, you love to see it that early on in this series, right? This is this round, of course, very first opportunity we're going to get to see him. But hey, if you're coming out super confident, you know, that pure flank coming through early, see BCJ just coming in through A-Link, close planning the likes of Victor. If you're going to open up this game and even just like, let's just theory trap for a bit here, you maybe take the first few rounds, maybe even grab the bonus, Doug. For XSET, playing against the, you know, I've called them this once already, but the Colossus of Envy on a map that they're comfortable on, it's no easy task. No. But if you're going to do it, absolutely, having that early game confidence to get the momentum and that ball rolling is going to pay dividends in the future. However, Weeded getting caught unawares a little bit. He comes away with 2, make it 3. Only 1 player left, that's FNS getting murdered over there along C4 piece for Weeded. And there's 2, Doug.
Yeah, in flawless fashion, that Spectre looking mighty nice as Weeded roars out of the gates to a 4-1 start. And I think the important thing for Envy here is that they showed something different, right? Like they tried taking a C split, or primarily through Garage towards C, weren't able to find a ton of success. You really saw the gun difference on full display there, but now we're going to get something a bit different for XSET. You know, we talk about how comfortable they are on this map. If they're able to take this round away, financially, they're going to be just fine.
Absolutely. Bit of an A-lobby aggression coming out here from XSET.
The pace at which they're playing this map so far, and look, Lex, they do this on attack as well. They play very aggressively, but we're seeing this on the defensive side now, where Envy start to feel some of that pressure, right? Like, they're getting suffocated out. Pure winning that gun battle with the Spectre into a Vandal is huge.
Yeah, and they used 4 players to take that control, and so coming away with the frag, no deaths. That's a big impact. Thwyfo has the information now that the C site has been forfeit towards Envy. The spike plant will be coming out any moment now, as all the members of Envy have regrouped towards that C-Long area and C site. Now the retake is on for XSET in a 5v4 situation here, Doug.
And I like the due diligence that XSET are working through here, right? Make sure there's nobody holding a pinch on B main while they try to cut over. They've managed to get through there, and I like what we're seeing out of how they're approaching the retake as well, right? They've sent 2 long, there are 2 in Garage, and then you have Aaron who's going to be coming into the defender spawn as well. All of this pressure is going to be so difficult for Envy to handle at the exact same time. You see them begin to funnel in, begin to push through, but of course, as I say that, Envy seems to hold fast. Victor gets a couple. What a response from Envy, Lex.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful play call from Envy, just making sure, okay, listen, we're not going to overextend at C. We're just going to take the map control they've given us. We've scouted out that early A-lobby aggression. Let's just regroup and hit it. They do so, and, you know, hats off to Thwyfo for staying home, just making sure he's not getting picked early, making sure they're not pushing into C-Link on him. Because there was a bunch of pressure on that side of the map, obviously, on him early. So that retake, despite a lot of the things that maybe XSET was hoping for not coming to pass. They're able to get 3 weapons down, but Envy with a beautiful play call, just regrouping. Actually, as I say that, they move directly into the operator of Pure, and he finds one out of Caboose.
Nice, pretty shot, almost lands a second, but that's going to delay things by time. You see, Victor has taken a good bit of space. He also has the run it back. So they may opt to pull that in, but you look on the other side of the map, Crashies is getting some info, understanding that nobody's pushing in from A aggressively into the attacker spawn. But it looks like they're going to try to go C here, Lex.
Yeah, that may have been a...
All right, here we
kill
go.
there from FNS from Garage onto Aaron, and suddenly that C site. Huge amounts of pressure, but Pure holds fast.
Yeah, Victor still able to get one with that run it back. But numbers advantage still in favor of XSET. The spike hasn't gone down yet as they try to figure out. I mean, they do have some time if they want to pull off, but it's not a lot. You're going to have to commit to something here very soon. Crashies with the tap. That's going to draw out the use of the gravity wall, and then they're going to pull off. And Lex, they... Oh my gosh! Crashies goes huge, and now they can book it out. Weeded gets one to trade it out. But now you've got a 1v1. Weeded so weak.
Crashies got the Nikes on, just heading straight towards A site. No second thoughts about it. And we did, as you said, so weak. 26 HP. Gonna hold on to that operator for the moment.
Oh, Crashies 1 point away from the Hunter's Fury. Lex, this is huge because Crashies...
I don't think he'll play for the post point here. Yeah, he's going straight into hell, just knowing how weak his opponent is. Probably better just to take the gunfight cleanly if he can. And this is going to be so difficult for We Did here, Doug.
It is just 26 health. He does have some utility, and he has an ultimate. But just the thing about where Weeded is right now, Lex, is he has no idea, right? Like, he's entirely guessing, has to check every single 50, every little corner, and the clock is not his friend. He's going to have to move. He's going to have to do so here very soon.
Yeah, he needs a mistake at a crash. He's a little bit of luck on his side, unfortunately. He's
just not
made
even
an incorrect call there on where he might be. It's just a total gamble on his end, but hey, there was a few things that XSET did really well in that round, and it's so unfortunate with that double peek from behind C. Crashies just punished that so well. Beautiful shots from him. But noticing that, you know, Victor's been farming that orb over at Long C, got the run it back early. Like, okay, what's the strongest thing you can do in this map with run it back? Well, heading up towards that C cubby, being able to pop it from there. Pure, wise to it. It likes to go for that early C long pick, and it did bear fruit for the XSET side. They put his team in an early advantage, and somehow Envy is just able to claw back into that round. Well played by Envy to get their second round on the board here.
XSET coming in a bit lighter as far as what sort of artillery they're going to have. You see Bucky Spectres across the board. We did the one with the gun. Dwifo, great use of the Bucky early on. He's able to get one. It gets traded out. That should give Envy access to C.
Yeah, completely
that's bold.
Pushed into a retake scenario now.
Yeah, I mean, that lockdown smack dab in the middle of everything. You see them anchoring off. There's really nothing that XSET can do from this position to go ahead and negate that ultimate, so they just have to wait it out. Now they're going to bust the move. The Cosmic Divide's going to go up, and remember Crashies with that Hunter's Fury that came online in the previous round could be a difference maker. Pure looking to be a difference maker himself with the blade from looking for a second, not going to land. He's going to get mowed down. Aaron following closely behind as he looks to get a couple of kills of his own, and things go absolutely sideways for XSET as Envy methodically get onto the site, get the spike down, and they walk away with that round, Lex, with two ultimates still in tow.
Yeah, and I think, you know, obviously you're not necessarily keen on saving Spectres or Buckies in that retake scenario, so what XSET had the opportunity to do there is build a few ultimates of their own. They do get the showstopper on Aaron, almost got the Hunter's Fury on BCJ, but considering this is going to be the next gun round for them, it's a little bit of a bummer that we're going to see. I think he's got a Bucky now. He had a Sheriff just a moment ago. But yeah, this is going to be a solid buy here for Envy. They've got a few ultimates to work with, Doug. And considering how much they've been able to just kind of, you know, dominate XSET over the C side of the map, they're going to like to just spread into a default now, await any sort of, you know, cheeky map control being taken by XSET. They've already shown that they have a propensity to do that a few times now. Envy just being very cautious, making sure to clear things out. Aldrone being popped very deep from Crashies, even outside of A lobby. So as they get the information that there's no one home, an easy call to just regroup towards A. All 5 players from Envy now approaching on the long A.
Well, and BCJ used his drone to get information that nobody was home across the middle of the map either. So you see him start to lean towards A, really on both sides. You see a couple of drones coming out as well. The damage coming through can be so difficult, but Wifo's in a great spot. He got tagged up, but man, he's dealing damage right back, as is the rest of XSET. As Pure gets 2 of his own. FNS alone.
Do you see that gravity well? FNS does find 1, actually, before I get ahead of myself. Finds 2, and now it's a 1v3.
No way.
He almost made that happen, man. Oh my goodness. I was about to start talking about how beautiful that gravity well was from We Did, and then FNS is like, hold up.
Well, now that we have a moment, we have a moment, break down that gravity well for me, Lex. What'd you see?
I mean, okay, so the recon dart came out from BCJ from heaven, and right there, Thwifo just catching a Caboose who is just stuck in the middle of that gravity well, and Victor caught just behind it, tries to refrag it, gives just enough time for Thwifo to reset. FNS with some beautiful weapon control here, finding 3 consolation prizes, do count to some degree. Unfortunately, despite that, you got 2 Sheriffs, a Frenzy, and a Spectre who accompany Crashy's Vandal in this round. Early Hunter's Fury towards the A site, and immediately they're going to take control of the entire side of the map over here, Doug.
Yeah, and XSET seemed pretty comfortable in giving some of that up as they want to play for a retake. Now, you keep an eye on BCJ. He's got his Hunter's Fury. When you see him posture from that position, you oftentimes see that ultimate come out. Got a couple of tags. That's really all the damage that was done. Wifo spotting 1 down low. Another excellent recon dart to give some info away, but that's all there is. The lockdown has been used. Showstopper's going to follow up as well as Caboose doesn't get a chance to fire it off. That's absolutely enormous. Lex, as now the lockdown does come through. Aaron got detained, but it could be bait as they work their way forward. Pure is there, able to take care of Aaron for the time being, understanding that FNS is likely playing in short as well, and it looks like they might try to stick to the defuse. We Did sitting on it, and yeah, baby, they're going to get it. You had to challenge in that situation, and XSET were just wise to it.
I didn't see if that was a double stacked cage for Thwifo there, but that was a beautiful play for him to drop from heaven and silence the showstopper from Caboose. You think he was over in that hell position easily, as at least 1, potentially 3, as those players were coming in from CT lower, or sorry, defender spawn. And wow, there was just a huge opportunity for Envy to lock that down with almost, I think, the entire team alive. Instead, the heroics from Thwifo silencing that. Suddenly they're in a 3v5, and XSET, who, you know, I would say they got outmaneuvered at the beginning of the round. I don't know if there was a tell or a read that Envy was able to pick up on to make that call towards A, but they found a free site and unfortunately weren't able to convert it, and so now forced into an even worse economic situation. They force back into it with what they can, but XSET is picking up steam now, Doug, as they claim their 4th in the half.
Now, be cautious of FNS here. He's the one who's got the spike. He's kind of playing that sniffer position, right? Ensuring that nobody's lurking their way through. He's being a rat working their way through any sewers. No one's going to be spotted, but like you said, Envy doesn't have a lot to work with here, right? Some frenzies, Sheriff. That's really it.
Yeah, just a matter of finding the weakness, finding the weak side of the map for XSET, find out where the rotations are, and try and exploit it. And as we see that, the likes of Envy have picked up on that. There's nobody home at B.
They might try to pick up that Vandal that they saw, but it might not matter. You see XSET showing that gun difference already as they mow down a couple of members of Envy. Just 1 remains. He's going to drop as well. XSET win that round as you expect them to, and they take a 2-round lead.
Yeah, and Doug, you and I have talked about this so many times on broadcast, but Haven as a map, okay? And I'm always the guy who's like, well, whoever is able to build a bank will surely run away with the half. But 5 rounds for XSET now. Are you comfortable here? Is this a place you want to be? Right, like, are we looking for 7 or 8 rounds in this half now? Like, how hard do you think XSET is willing to push this, considering how well they're playing against Envy right now?
I don't, Lex, you know my stance on this. If you're on the defensive side, you need more, right? Like, if you can get away with more, you're cruising going into that next round. Caboose looking to stop that dead in its tracks. He gets the first pick onto Aaron. You hear Victor's going to use the run it back. And look, Victor's run it backs, and there's no statistical way to prove this, but I'm fully convinced that he provides more value. What a shotgun. out of those run it backs than anybody else in the game, but BCJ is showing that he can do a bit of that on his own. Caboose in a great spot here. Not going to take the blast pack up, but the Cosmic Divide's going to come out in an excellent spot. There's not a whole lot they can do here. Great gravity well used by Mummy. The spike continues to tick away. They're going to have to push through here. Here they come. They all come in at the same time. They were able to get a couple of picks of their own. Weeded still alive. Nice shots. But Victor stands strong. He gets 3. It wasn't the run it back. It was just him and his Phantom that win the round for Envy.
Wow. And for a moment there, it really seemed like XSET was going to be able to retake that. Unfortunately for them, just too strong of a post plan from Envy. Holding things down. Victor just wouldn't work for his team. I mean, you were mentioning the run it back. Just even the information gained, making sure that your team doesn't need to worry about re-clearing short afterwards, making sure the site is completely vacant. Huge confident boost if you're following that run it back into a site, knowing that there's just nobody home. So Envy a few times in this game have just made some tactical reads that have made it much easier on this approach in Haven. Early garage control being taken by Envy, and that's map control that you don't necessarily want to give away for free, but Pure flubs the shot, misses it wide. From that C platform position, the operator usually at least expected to take contact, if not find the pick. Didn't find his mark there. 3 members from XSET are in the C-Link C site position, so if Envy does elect to come here, they will not be meeting the sparse resistance that they're getting used to now, but time will tell, Doug, as this long C peak is sure to come out on a Pure any moment.
It's interesting. They're choosing to challenge him again. They know that their operator's there, but they feel so confident in their ability to play around it. They have no problem going back towards C. That's now 3 shots that he hasn't been able to connect on. Here comes Victor. Curveballing his way in. Weeded's going to drop. Hunter's Fury coming out from BCJ on really the opposite side of the map to try to wreak havoc. But it's his team who's able to land the kills that are needed. The operator finally comes online for 2 in the round as Pure knocks down a couple of members of Envy. XSET continue with the 2-round lead.
Wow. I'm impressed several times in this half with XSET and their ability to just kind of rebound, right? You know, you just reset Envy again, and, you know, 3 players were positioned correctly for XSET there for that push.
Right here.
And even though the initial engagements necessarily didn't give them that advantage, that Hunter's Fury coming out from BCJ definitely causes some disruption on the execute itself. Players jumping around, free targets for Pure, and Aaron on the site. Well played by XSET to claim their 6th, and as you said, you want every single round here on defense that you can, and that ain't gonna help things. Victor with a huge Phantom frag on a Pure.
No, and again, we highlighted it in the previous round, but Pure again just narrowly missing those opening shots, and this time he gets severely punished for it. Victor looking to add more insult to injury as he lands considerable damage onto Aaron, forces him back down to 26 health, and now it looks like they've dealt the damage they wanted to deal, and they're going to be able to rotate away.
And this is going to be his, like, 3rd or 4th run it back yet in this half, and almost every single time it's helping determine the outcome of the round, so I think it's 4th. Never mind. Doesn't matter. BCJ falls immediately to it, and he's going to grab another one. Aaron falls.
3 on the round for Victor already, and let's remember, this is not an ideal round for the members of Envy. They had a couple of sheriffs of FNS is still rocking a frenzy, so they did not come in at full strength, and it doesn't seem to matter at this point as XSET's just down to a couple of members in the round. It doesn't even look like they're going to try it, right? They're just probably going to let this one go. Maybe if we did get something, maybe a couple of exits on the way out, you kind of change the conversation. Wifo catching the lurk from FNS there. We did as well. A 2v3 is a very different conversation, but the thing is, the time is continuing to tick away as well. For XSET, this is just a difficult spot. Now, Lex, I highlighted it a couple of rounds ago. The value that Victor gets out of his run-it-backs are unmatched.
Yeah, it's small wonder why they've been farming the orb for him specifically this entire game, getting massive amounts of value off of it. You know, he's at 10 and 8, which frag leader for his team, but most importantly, these first bloods that just being able to push into this site right here off the back of what can only be said is the brute force of Victor coming up with a run it back up short. It's incredible how much that can change the outcome of the round. One of the greatest ultimates in the game, the run it back. Certainly showing us why there.
All right, Mummy's going to bring an op into the fold this time around to match up against Pures. Pures going to be holding down the middle of the map. No one's going to be spotted. And once again, Envy looking to close out this half. Yet to hopefully 6-6 while taking control of A. They've been here a couple of times now, and they've been, it's worked, right? Like they have found relative success on this half of the map. But you've got to deliver here.
Take flight. You should run.
All right, here we go. Lockdown's coming out. Again, nothing really to counter it, right? So FNS can use that safely, push off the members of XSET that remain on the site while they funnel their way in. Nobody's detained, and again, they take that as really a free entry onto the site. But BCJ has been able to hang out long enough to stick around. Of course, as I say that, he sticks around a bit too long potentially, and he drops. Riot and Pure still have a couple of ultimates of their own, while Crashies and Caboose can do the same. But for now, again, XSET just patiently waiting, Lex.
Last round, there it is. Cosmic Divide coming out from We Did. Should make the retake a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, it's going to take a whole lot more than that. As Pure gets mowed down, he tries to dash in with the Blade Storm. It doesn't matter. XSET's just down to Aaron. Envy just beautifully denied that retake. A flawless round to close out the half. Envy played that. They couldn't have played that any better, Lex.
Yeah, and on a retake, it is so important that first engagement, but if you're losing it to an operator, an untradeable kill, really tough to even get a foothold into the site there. And as I was praising the use of the Cosmic Divide to maybe make it a little bit more manageable, Envy just shuts the door. A strong half out of both teams, I'd say. And, you know, at a few different moments, maybe have lent the advantage to Envy on these rounds, but XSET managing to deter the economic foothold of Envy in this half, and suddenly, you know, despite Envy winning some of the bigger gun rounds, I think XSET should count themselves fortunate that they were able to get into the economic situation they did. That said, 5 players now for XSET, already mounting up towards 4B push here in the middle of the map.
Lex, FNS has to go big here. XSET like to take B and push through, right? Like they'll smoke ceiling really hard and push their way into A. Like, that's why I was saying FNS has to be able to anchor this just enough time for the rest of Envy to rotate over. Victor gets here, he gets a kill. Riot has made their way to the back of the site, but the plan has gone sideways, right? They haven't been able to push their way through. They're kind of like stuck, right? Like they're sardines in a can here on B where they have pressure coming in from both sides. There are not a whole lot of options left for XSET here.
Yeah, Envy just decimating this B push. For a moment, as you said, FNS in the back of the site, it really looked precarious for him. Not a lot of help being available first 10 seconds or so of that engagement, but we'll find one delays just enough for the rotation from Victor to come in, and you know, you take the pistol, your Envy. This is a feel-good spot. This is where you can kind of establish your dominance in a game. You know, clean up the first eco round, clean up the bonus, and suddenly this doesn't look like such a contested map. But on the other side of that coin, I'd say XSET, with how quickly they were trounced in the pistol round, need to continue to find a weakness in this Envy defense. Already coming to the Spectre, a headshot from Caboose, finding a second. FNS and Mummy chime in with their own. No weakness found yet here, Doug.
No, not in that round. And again, I think they have classics, and that may have been all they had. So you expect that round to go in favor of Envy. They take a 2-round lead, and now you've got XSET with an opportunity to respond from a position of strength. I like what we're seeing out of Envy, though. Mummy opting to bring an operator into this round.
Yeah, and actually, we were talking about it earlier in this half, or early in the first half, but I think XSET, you know, winning the opening pistol of the game, came out firing on all cylinders, really looked confident throughout the first few gun rounds. I think we could say the same for Envy at this point. Not just having the confidence, but, man, they're hitting their shots. They're firing on all fronts. And I thought maybe we'd get a little bit of a duel here at Short A, but Mame, no joy yet. As XSET liking to bide their time and be ever so cautious approaching even this A lobby. Good reason.
Yeah, man, he had a chance at Pure. Makes that operator sing, already bringing so much value after the heavy investment at this point in the half. And now if you're XSET, you just kind of got to slow things down and reassess how you want to play this out.
Take garage control, which there's 2 players from Envy on C now.
Oh boy. Caboose shined in this exact position just in the previous round, and again, he seems to be picking up right where he left off. Crashies is getting in on the action as well, as XSET just get picked apart. A second flawless round in a row, and Lex, that was a rifle for XSET.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at earlier, man. It's like you clean up this bonus if you ever get to that point where economically you are sitting pretty for several rounds moving forward. And yeah, despite the early investment of the operator for Mame, certainly that's a risk. But look how it paid off in that last round.
Yep.
Finding the opener on a pure, and if nothing else, suddenly XSET, any game plan that you may have had coming into this attack side, any kind of you know, elaborate ideas of how you're going to approach this defense of Envy, well, now you've got the operator on Mame, and that is a whole different story when it comes to being able to manage and pick apart a defense. And actually, as I say that, they do find out Crashies at long A. Victor finds 2. So 3 on 4. The A site is now in possession of XSET, Doug.
Yeah, that was a big kill from Victor, though, to get the runner back online. Again, we've stressed the importance, the value of that ultimate in his hands. He has it here. Yeah, XSET have gotten onto the site. They do have a rifle, but still haven't fully committed to the plant. I don't know that you really have much of a choice here. Media's going to get the spike down, and it's going to be on Envy to fight for the retake.
There is a flank coming in from a lobby, so Envy in no rush, just making sure there's no lurkers available to make plays for XSET. I'm sure with the amount of time it took to plan, it was making Envy wonder if there was another ace up their sleeve, but a bit of a crossfire over here to spawn, but...
Oh, that's big. Victor offline, but FNS responding in kind with getting 2 of his own. Pure not able to deliver the last. Envy managed to take the site back, and they're going to get the defuse. A 4-round lead, Lex.
Yeah, and that is just a beautiful, diligent, complete retake from Envy where they just really were no rush to put any kind of pressure on XSET. They just let things unfold as it was. And once you find out one player's towards a lobby, once you find that pick, you know, close defender spawn. I think it was Victor who found 2 there on the retake. I mean, that flank just coming in was huge.
Yep.
Now you're at 10-6, and this is the last really solid chance for XSET to turn the momentum of this match around. I mean, you've got potentially giving Envy 11-6. The outlook of this game really becomes dire, Doug, and you know, Mame just talked about in the last round over here towards C. Not going to find any contact early. But XSET's got to dispense a whole lot of utility. As I say that, BCJ dry peeks mid-window. Okay. To avoid getting picked is what I was about to say. So, never mind there. 5 on 4. Envy already looking good in this round, Doug.
Yeah, and you saw Crashies. He worked his way up a short, got some of that info. Meanwhile, FNS is doing a lot of the same as he's worked his way into C-Long Cubby. So you start to get a little bit of a process of elimination to understand where the remaining members of XSET are. That's why you see him so heavily huddled around B.
Yeah, they know they've yielded Garage to XSET, and Aaron just kind of getting the same feverish desire to peak that BCJ just showed us. And when your team's down and you finally got a rifle in your hands, just like, somebody duel me, man. Fortunately, the operator's the one who came to fight. Caboose finds another and beautiful off angle there.
Yep.
You had no idea.
No, and even like crouching in that moment to not have that like cursor placement be a factor was just very well played. And now again, XSET down to 2 members left.
No more charges left.
They don't have a ton of time either. You wonder if they just kind of try to save this out.
Yeah, this sucks.
Carry the rifles, yeah.
It's a tough spot to be in. Definitely gonna like to save, but you'd see the frustration from Weeded as he's spinning around in circles. It's just, I didn't even get a chance to shoot my gun.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is kind of the scary place that I was alluding to at the beginning of the round, where if you aren't able to claim an attack side round yet, you know, if you're going into this 18th round or whatever it is, where Envy's about to be given map point if you don't win this next round, there's a lot of pressure. And you don't have a full kit. You got a few light armors. You got a Spectre in the hands of XSET. But, you know, both of those peaks, you got to think neither of them were necessary for the success in this round for XSET, and yet came out regardless. And unfortunately for them, Envy now is not only hitting max money on just about every single player on the team, but they're showing no cracks in their defense so far, Doug.
No, they're not, and I think... all right, so XSET's bringing in almost full weaponry here. Yeah. And so actually, okay, this is one of the things I wanted to highlight. XSET's playing this attack half very differently than they played against BBG. They would normally force stack one side. So here, they'd force stack A, and they'd leave Dwifo on C to prevent this, right? But so much information is gathered from where Caboose is, and even if XSET is not able to find their way in through A and they have to rotate off, guess what? If they go towards C, there's a showstopper waiting for them.
Yeah, really confident play coming out from Envy the past few rounds. We've seen FNS do it, we've seen Caboose do it. They know XSET is largely ignoring that side of the map. Let's say that. Oh, BCJ gets caught with the scan. Jig is up. And I think Envy already had gleaned enough information to know that B was at risk, so they're not really stressing this hard at all. XSET saying, hey, nobody's home, we're going to go ahead and take this.
See the high hands from Victor to try to buy some time, but he's going to pull off. Dwifo on the lurk, trying to cause some havoc. He's going to drop. Let's see what Victor can do. Oh, he's running back. Oh, flash right in the face. Swings out, doesn't land the kill, but Crashies does. As Victor gets back to safety. The Cosmic Divide's going to come out, prevent anybody from trying to pull in from the A-Link side of things. This is very difficult here if you're XSET. You only have 2 members remaining. You've got to be able to stand strong, and the thing is, there's so much pressure coming in from so many different angles. Envy are able to take the site back with relative ease, and Lex, they gave it up, right? Like, they were perfectly comfortable giving XSET all of that real estate, confident that they'd be able to take it back, and they did.
Oh yeah, even when they had the information, the solid information where XSET was and where they wanted to go, you didn't see anybody move. It was almost like, oh, they're gonna take B from us? Well, great, we'll see you there. You know, just knowing that their retake was gonna be strong enough and capable enough to make that happen, well, certainly works. Now we've got Envy on map point and XSET still without an attack side round here on Haven, Doug. And, I mean, they're going to change things up. They're going to see if they can maybe work a C-split into this round. But I think just about every single time they've tried to make a move, they've run into the operator of Mummy. You've got a second operator on Crashies now. There's some threats on the board, and may just be a matter of process of elimination to find out what is available to them, and they're going to find out very quickly that C is not.
Yeah, I was waiting to see who was going to get that ult orb. It is going to be BCJ. It could have gone in favor of Aaron as well. And again, Envy understand where they are right now, because look at how much space has been taken away in A, right? They have a decent idea, and they're able to press in to take some of that real estate out. So Mummy's operator is not going to be in the fold initially, but Victor is, and who else but Victor? Good for one, looking for the second, line him up, knock him down, he gets 2. Aaron's able to trade him out with the Spectre. Now they've got to go. They've got to be able to beat the remaining members of Envy onto the site. Aaron with the showstopper, and so beautifully played by Crashies. He's not even going to check it, right? He's just going to wait patiently. Pure wisely peeks that, gets the kill. Needed, should be able to get the spike down.
Yeah, that very much could have been tragic. Instead, Envy's still alive here. Who's actually going to miss that showstopper by a country mile, and now it's a 1-on-2 is Pure alone here at short. Takes a duel against FNS, and he's going to come up short. And that is actually going to be map point here for Envy. 13-6 against XSET on Haven.
And I mean, what a dominant performance, Lex. This almost doesn't seem like this is real, but it was 6-6 at half, right? And we even teed up how good XSET can be on the attacking half, given what we saw yesterday against Built by Gamers. But it was, oh boy. All right, XSET starting off on attack, leaning towards A, where there is a metric ton of Killjoy utility.
Oh my god,
waiting.
4 players too.
I mean, that's a bad stack. They've managed to take the spike up the middle of the map on Cat into Tree, and yeah, Tree's gonna be fine, but there are a few problems here. It's gonna be really hard to get in through a door, and Food's on the other side, right? As soon as they funnel in, there he is! Victor already good for 2 with the Frenzy. Mummy's good for 1 as well. Just a couple of members remaining on the side of XSET. Dwifo's left alone. in a 1v3. The spike is in no man's land. This is a difficult ask for Thwifo.
Difficult ask is an understatement. There are a few weakened players, you know. Get the consolation prize of the orb. I like it.
Yeah, man. Take what you can get.
Yeah, if you can get a few frags here, you know, you can hang your hat on that because fact is your team just walked into a 4-stack with Killjoy utility. I don't know if there was a read there, it was a straight gamble, or if XSET in their Vons only go A on pistol, but Envy with one hell of a read to start this half.
Well, and like Lex, we talked about, right? Like it was there, right? It was like watching a train wreck unfold before your eyes. You know you're not going to be able to get in through a door, which is why Thwifo's still alive. And meanwhile, Victor's on the other side of Tree, waiting with the frenzy. There were just so many things that.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, an excellent read. Call it what you will. It pans out beautifully for Envy. And yeah, they did lose Victor and Mummy, but I mean, they read XSET like a book there.
Yeah, they come away from that round looking like absolute geniuses. The meat grinder right here, the crossfire, just you're seeing nothing but inks light up your screen, man. There's just sparks flying. Envy take the pistol, and we expect a conversation about, you know, momentum. You gotta expect Envy carrying the powerful second half that we saw on Haven into Ascent here. That's a scary thing on the attack side of XSET, where you got 0 rounds in the prior map. So gotta figure Envy is gonna put their foot on the gas and not let go for as long as they can. 2 early kills coming in for Caboose here today, main as well.
Yeah, and like the gun difference is going to be very heavily felt in this round, but you're already seeing XSET kind of go back to how they normally play maps on the attacking side. Thwifo, again, playing the sniffer on the opposite side of the map, making sure nobody's lurking their way in while they heavily press somewhere else, and then they can choose if they want to flip the map or not. But it's already a change from what we saw on the attacking side on Haven, where they, for by and large, were just bunched up in a death ball trying to brute force their way into sites.
I'm pretty caught up on the reference to Thwifo being the offset man. It's being referred to as the sniffer. I love it.
You like that? You dig
just sniffing
sniffer?
things out, man. Just over there, up to no good. Trying to find an opening for his team. He did right there, but here will be the first rifle round for the side of XSET. Strapped a bit on some light armors, which pulling up against some, I say some, 4 Spectres and an operator on the side of Envy. This is a lot like the start of Haven, where that investment early on into the operator. You know, Mame already looking for a pick towards A main. We'll find nothing, so that information alone, pretty darn valuable for Envy, knowing that XSET is occupying outside of B site and middle. Can be adjusted accordingly. 2 players towards pizza, 1 at B main. That's Rashy is dropping the Aldron early, so that information comes through that the B push is potentially there. They've yielded B main, and quickly XSET press forward.
Yeah, and the thing is, Envy should know this at this point, right? Because they spotted Thwifo booting out, and then BCJ used his drone, so they have a decent idea that the hit's coming towards B. They have market control, and again, the spike is in a brutal spot where Pure dashed in. He dropped it. Victor on the side, looking to get an opening in with the curveball. He's able to do just that. As members of Envy are starting to drop. This is an excellent response from XSET. Aaron on the Astra. Good for 3 already. We'll see what Mike can do with the operator on a 1v3. It looks like he might just try to save it. We saw such a fruitful return on investment when he bought the op in the bonus on Haven. Look, at this point, he's lucky if he's able to keep it into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty big if XSET could, you know, somehow get it out of his hands, but they're very aware of the fact that holding on to these 3 Phantoms, trying to lose them to the likes of an operator over at Defender Spawn, that is just not a cost that you're willing to pay at this point. So you'll probably let them have it, but this is a, you know, kind of to what you're saying, Doug. It's a very different story being told just in this round. You think about how devastating it would have been if they lost it here, because that snowball effect on Haven really, really made it hard for them to even find openings at any point.
Well, they didn't.
Yeah, ever. I don't think did they ever come out with an opening frag in that half. But hey, you just won your first round here, And it may have taken
Can I get
the
this?
entire map to win an attack side round, but considering we're only 3 rounds into this bout, for Ascent at least, that's a fantastic start.
You see stars littering your mini map as XSET's posturing towards B. They have a full stack over there. Nobody's sniffing anything out. They want to go aggressive. He did with the curveball getting his way in. Looks like they have a couple of good lineups to clear out anything happening across market. The curveball's there as well. Caboose looking to stay alive.
Round B.
And he's not going to be able to. 2 members of Envy remain. An operator in the hands of Mummy, and then FNS with the Spectre. And again, a question where, I mean, they can choose to go for it here.
Imagine
It won't
they're
be
gonna
easy.
wait, see whether or not Mummy can find one, and then... Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Aaron using that Cosmic Divide early on. I mean, sure, that's going to buy you time. Looking to see if he can get any info. Just peeking on the other side of the wall. And it looks like for Envy, the win here might be just having drawn that out.
Yeah, FNS
Right,
is
like-
going to do what he can to make sure that they aren't able to get away with these guns.
Oh, wow. FNS creeping through the Cloudburst, good for 2, and oh, man. Yeah, they dealt the damage, the spike's gonna go off, but what an excellent, really, like, trap they put XSET into.
Yeah, you give 2 more points on the ultimate towards that lockdown for FNS, 1 more for Mummy, and even more importantly, as you're saying, you're limiting the economic advantage that you're going to give to XSET by losing that round. You know, they're going to have to rebuy quite a bit. Got light armor on BCJ to make sure he's got utility, and no one on the side of XSET now has, you know, any kind of sizable economy for rounds in the future. So,
Nope.
on the other side of things, Envy, where they invested in this operator early, definitely we're a little stunned on the bonus. Weren't able to clean up the following round, and now, you know, you maybe lost the prior round to XSET, but you've maintained that operator, and you've got the ultimate coming out early here from Thwife over at A-Main.
And not only that, but they put the Ult Orb in Weeded's pocket to get that run it back online, and sure enough, he uses it to pave the way to get onto the site. The thing is, because of the lockdown, they're respecting that. They're not playing it aggressively, so the run it back doesn't really grab very much value at all. We'll see what Victor can do with his as Caboose gets one with the showstopper. Crashies. Spidey senses tingling, understanding that there was one in the smoke. He gets it, but he drops it. Mummy's frenzy. And really, Envy across the board, they're able to retake that site, having only dropped 2 legs.
Yeah, that was an interesting post plant there for XSET. I feel like sometimes when we're watching these teams on Ascent, specifically on A, the amount of times you see teams partially hiding, partially fighting, the entire Envy roster just walked across heaven basically and into the site through a door uncontested. You saw Pure just trying to hide in his own cloudburst in the middle of the site, teammate hiding deep in hell, and it just seemed very disjointed. And unfortunately, you know, giving Envy a clean round win there means not only are you going to be strapped this round, you got a couple Spectres, a Frenzy in the hands of Pure, because you're going to have the Blade Storm, but you've got a mostly broken buy here. Envy keeping all their weaponry and then some. It's a tough spot to be in here for XSET, because as I'm saying, you hope for at least a few more kills on that retake, even though you lose it. Early Hunter's Fury from BCJ, clear out that tree area, no tags. Door closed now, so Pure stalled for the moment. At any moment, this A split's underway, Doug.
Yeah, and you can tell they're trying to force in, right? They've invested a couple of ultimates, and this might be why. Pure is already good for 2 with the Blade Storm, not able to land another. The curveball from Victor proving to be too much. As Caboose was on the flank, he takes away Cat. There is no control in Tree. The thing is, XSET do have 3 members on the site, and they have decent weaponry, right? Couple Spectres and Phantom in the hands of Weeded. Caboose going to be the first on the swing. He's going to drop. Victor looking to find some of his own spots. One player looks for a second, does it, and Crashies took care of Weeded. Envy once again showing proficiency in taking the site back. XSET, they didn't bring great guns into this, but this was certainly a winnable round.
Yeah, I won't read too much into that post plant, considering what I had just spoken on, but hey, those entries from Pure, considering, as you said, limited weaponry, limited opportunity to really win that round, you bust out a couple ultimates. Hunter's Fury, a Blade Storm, and it ends up, you know, getting the spike plant down, pressuring Envy a bit to at least invest some weaponry to retake that, but really isn't going to do anything horrendous to their economy. You've still got another buy to deal with. If you just check out the inventory there on XSET, you've got a couple Buckies, a Frenzy, a Sheriff, and a Vandal. We'll see what they can do with it now as they mostly pressuring towards mid with all 5 players.
And you'll often see teams in a light buy, in a broken buy like this, try to exploit the middle of the map to at least take some space away. Crashy spotted it early, and now that was a spike carrier too. The Hunter's Fury taking BCJ out.
Pure made up a lot of ground there, just dodging the Hunter's Furies, and I wonder whether or not, yeah, okay, so they're going to go ahead, try and pressure free a little bit, and if they had gotten that kill, maybe you're able to draw a rotate, but there's still 3 players from Envy who are very aware of the fact they've given up mid, they don't have control of B main, they don't really know where the last remaining players of XSET are, so that ground that Pure had just made really is kind of useless at this point, as no traffic will come to pass.
See the nano swarms coming out. Should be a pretty decent indicator of what's coming. As the door gets shot through, Victor, though, and he's just so consistent. He's so reliable for Envy. The spike's down again in a really brutal spot. Pure has to go in. A great flash, able to get one, but gets shot right in the back of the head as he's not able to respond to that at all. Weeded left alone with 5 health. The hot hands almost enough to take him out. We'll see if he's able to do anything with the Sheriff. Yep, okay. That certainly helps, but again, still in a 1v4 legs.
Not sure if the ult orbs, yeah, okay. Gonna grab the ult orb.
10 seconds left.
And when he dies, you'll have his running back for the next round. So, you know what? Whatever. Just go ahead, swing, take a fight.
Yep.
Count that as a consolation moving into the next round. And Envy, who have just, you know, for many rounds now leading to the last map, have looked extremely confident and very strong. They managed that broken buy from XSET very well. Another gun round coming up now. See Victor topping the scoreboard at 11-4. Another standout performance from the Phoenix.
And he's got the run it back here. FNS is going to have the lockdown mummy 1 point away from the Cosmic Divide. Meanwhile, not the same luxury as far as ultimate economy goes for XSET. They do have rifles, and you find yourself in a position here, Lex, where this half, I mean, you could already make an argument that it's getting out of hand, but you're still in a position where you can salvage it, but you've really got to start here. You've got to get something going if you're XSET.
Yeah, and they have 5 players ready to go here at B, and there's only 1 player directly on the site. Crashes is now here to help FNS, but that Killjoy ultimate, that lockdown, is going to delay things indefinitely. They have no way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Suddenly XSET, who have taken no map control in the round, were expecting to just walk into B with an execute, run into some Killjoy utility, then the lockdown, and now we're at a standstill where they've somehow got to reclaim map control without being too obvious about it. Already Mame in a dangerous angle here at mid, reposts on it, Pure pays the price, and now it's a 5v4, and that glimmer of hope that XSET had in this half that you were illustrating for us, BCJ wants it back so bad, walking all the way up to defender spawn, a greedy position, but perhaps one that will pay off dividends if he's able to find anything here, Doug.
Aaron's still playing pretty far back, but Victor wise to the fact that they've given up middle of the map control. Got one, got traded out. But the thing is, there's still 2 remaining members on the side of Envy. Well, there were until Twyfo took care of them. There's the lockdown coming up from Twyfo himself. Mummy's up. Not good that time. The Classic isn't going to do it either. They somehow managed to establish enough control to be able to work their way towards A. He did. Still has that ult in his back pocket. 10 seconds left. The wall's going to go up. The spike's going to go down. And now it's going to be on Envy in a 2v3. Numbers disadvantage to take the site back. And again, they're going to be coming in from the same angle. Up in heaven. We did good for 1. FNS trades it out. FNS not able to make any magic happen. A 3K for Weeded. He didn't use the run it back. He's able to bring that into the next round. And Lex, that did not look good at the beginning, right? Like,
no.
You almost looked at the situation and went, oh, B's going to be free, right? Like, there's only 1 player there, but the lockdown alone really almost set the round in a complete tizzy.
Yeah, and I think it was actually, I was kind of painting it as being dangerous, but the decision to regroup and reset there towards tiles and mid, you know, Envy luckily hadn't taken any sort of, you know, aggressive positions there, despite the fact that Mame had found that picket back mid. You almost felt like XSET had no other option but to re-hit it or move into a B split perhaps, but BCJ kind of leading the charge, and Thwyfo with 2 huge entries over there at defender spawn really turned the tide of the round, and we saw Weeded with some heroics as well to finish it out. Victor's gonna pop his run it back. It's a lot of information that the players over here they made. And that set hot hands towards Cubby finds one onto Aaron, and Weeded, blind as all heck towards Bike, will fall. And now this is a 5-on-3 with XSET limping already in this round.
And like, again, the damage has been done. Right, in the previous round, it was the lockdown that really set things sideways. This time, it was the run it back. But can XSET pull something out of their hats again? Right, they were able to take care of Victor. They were kind of try to equalize things a bit, or at least tip them a bit more towards their favor. But the clock is not their friend. Envy's playing very defaulty because they have a numbers advantage. They can. XSET, they're going to have to decide something here soon.
Yeah, at this point, I don't wholeheartedly know that
30
there's an
seconds
easy
left.
answer or solution to their problems, but they're doing this again where, okay, the round's falling apart, 25 seconds left, let's go hit something, contact it together, and trade it out.
Trashies. Good for one, trades out. There's only one remaining member
Thwyfo again.
on the site. Yep, and Thwyfo once again goes huge. Caboose drops. Members of Envy are going to have to rotate over as the spike goes down. And somehow, XSET find themselves in a spot where the beginning of the round goes absolutely sideways, and they might walk away with this dang thing.
And it comes once again off the back of the heroics of Thwyfo. The round isn't over yet. Still in a 2v2 with his man BCJ.
Thwyfo playing aggressive. Oh, beautiful. Thwyfo swings and FNS responds even more beautifully. BCJ good for one. He's going to have to dance around the generator. Not able to take care of things. Mummy's classic does. As BCJ drops, Mummy's going to get the defuse. Envy get to 6.
So close, and considering how that round went, you really can't be too upset if you're XSET, because that round seemed as though there was no way you're even going to get a spike plan out of it, and yet drawing it down to the final moments in a 1v1 with a classic being the decider. You know what? Considering it's 6-3 now, it definitely has felt as though in a few of these rounds, Envy just let them slip through. That almost was one more, but you know, considering the economic situation is in dire straits for XSET here, Doug, I wonder whether or not, you know, they've tried a few different times in this half to kind of roll into a 5-man exec early. Tried to play it fast and loose for a moment or two over there towards B main and found some success. And also got stuffed just as often.
They may try it again. BCJ has the Hunter's Fury, right? And previously we saw them invest that to clear out tree with Pure's Blade Storm. This time not the case. Pure works his way into tree for free. But again, they've got to deliver up close and personal into Victor's front pocket, and Victor dismisses and disposes of him with relative ease. BCJ is left alone here. He's got the Bucky, looking to see if he can pick up a weapon. There's nothing there. A 1v3. Yep, and I mean, the classic shot was nice, but it wasn't enough to land the kill. Caboose takes care of him. And for XSET here, I mentioned earlier, we saw him in a position like this before where they heavily invested ultimates to try to win the round. This time, they're going to carry it into a rifle.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with it. You mentioned it, BCJ was using his Hunter's Fury early on in this game to clear out the tree position to make the A split a bit easier. And right there, I don't think the read was terrible. They knew Victor was inside of a main, and they just like, hey, we'll pinch him from tree side, but it didn't end up working out. So another Hunter's Fury off the rip, trying to create that space. Run it back to pop, and we did immediate deletion from generator, and counter Hunter's Fury is accompanied by a 3-piece from FNS, who holds tall, strong, and fast at the front of the A site. And now it's just Aaron and BCJ once again finding themselves in a very, very disadvantaged position in a round, and there's already a double flank
Yikes.
backside of this map, and there's just nowhere to go. Aaron's backed into wine, executed there by Victor, who finds 2 on the round, accompanied by that 3-piece from FNS, and things are looking so good for Envy.
Yeah, and honestly, yes, things looking very good for Envy, but also that was a round where XSET had the tools to make something happen. right? Like you saw him invested early, the early Hunter Fury out of BCJ, the run it back from We Did, not netting anything, right? And then you see a couple of ultimates coming out in response. It's a bit scary for XSET given how that round went.
Absolutely. And when you do have all those tools available to you, not able to capitalize, not only is that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a terrible outcome for your prospects of winning the map and potentially keeping the series hopes alive. There's that defensive lockdown again from FNS. It's just going to stunt any sort of aggression at B early on from XSET. They've got to turn around, reset, grab map control that they don't have already, and this is just Envy one step ahead each and every time in these rounds.
It really is. And the thing is, you mentioned have to retake map control. BCJ didn't have very much on the other side, right? Like there was nobody across the middle. BCJ was still playing back.
B main, Mume's about to make contact. There it is. Thwifo thought he had a home free B main. And Envy, who popped that lockdown, they used it to take control back. And look at this. Victor in advance spotted well. Okay.
Spike down.
Okay.
Victor not able to land anything, but Caboose is so like this is almost, it almost has the same effect as the lockdown, right? But this time it actually walks away with a kill. They have to respect that ultimate. It just buys time. You're just delaying over and over, and XSET are in a position where like, all right, we took care of the lockdown. We waited out. Well, they didn't. But the showstopper's offline. Now you have 11 seconds. You've got to go. And then Envy just has excellent site control. They're able to control the pinpoints into the site. There's no way in for XSET.
That looked so easy for Caboose just from, I think it was Victor's perspective over in Wind. Paint shells came in. Showstopper came out, and quickly XSET was silenced in a dominant half from Envy. Just start to finish, there was a few opportunities for XSET to really bring the game back. Economically speaking, they didn't let Envy just run away with it right away. And in a few late round odd man situations, you know, they were winning, I think it was like a 3v5 and almost a 3v4 to the round after that. So XSET look alive individually at different points, but, you know, as a team, they just seem to be either underperforming or just straight up outclassed by the likes of Envy once again here on Ascent. Not too unfamiliar considering how Haven went.
We'll see if XSET is able to find more success on the defensive side of the map. Envy has already taken the middle. They're working their way all up into the belly of the beast. They've taken market control. They also have FNS who's working his way in through B. My gosh, BCJ never stood a chance, Lex.
Yeah, just getting mauled on the B site. No help from any teammates, and all four players from XSET are flying in through defender spawn, retaking switch, and Crashy will be the first to find one.
This looks good for XSET. A 2v2, well, of course.
Wow.
That may have been my fault. As I say that, Envy just once again picks them apart, and Caboose was able to take care of that final round with, I think he had like 13 health left.
Yeah, and I think maybe this is, I don't know when this started happening for XSET, but it definitely was at some point on Haven. But they just look frantic, right? Like there was like a huge rush to retake right there. They all go together. It looks like it's got some momentum behind it, and then Envy just crashing down and cascading those frags one after another.
Yeah.
And it just looks so easy for them, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that XSET, you know, having so little of a site control, having no market control, having no B main control on the retake.
Oh, man.
There's too many angles, and the Buckies haven't been too impactful here in this series, but we've seen them nonetheless. 4-5 moments of frenzy, actually. But XSET already, I don't know, a 3-on-4 situation. Envy looking very comfy here in this anti-eco.
Yeah, and you know, you even saw at the beginning of the round, you mentioned how easy it seems sometimes for Envy. Victor just curveballed and then just walked up and grabbed the orb for free, right? And then he even went forward and got a kill to bring that run it back online. Yeah, he eventually lost his life, but you see it. I think that moment really highlights how easy it's been, how effortless it's been for Envy to take what they want when they want it.
Yeah, it really feels like Envy's able to bully XSET out of map control, and then they almost expect XSET is going to respect it, and each and every time they do. And unfortunately, trying to play against that when
Oh, that's awesome.
they're just so confident.
Yeah, I love that little interaction there. The gravity well into the shock dart to try to really rip them apart. There was some damage dealt, but at the end of the day, the outcome is as we would expect. BCJ drops there. Envy get to 11, and XSET are, I mean, they seem lost. Like they haven't been able to get anything going on either side of the map.
Victor is 20-9. This man is farming right now.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad. That's not bad. We'll count that as a W in his column because as far as the individual performances goes,
Eyes up.
he has just been playing lights out on this Phoenix all day so far,
Revealing area.
which is what you hope for.
Right, Envy looking to take the matter towards A. There's a pretty considerable amount of Killjoy utility, and they have some presence in Tree Room, so we'll see if this A split works out while Finesse sniffing things out towards B. Nobody's coming through. Nobody's home, but that should give some info. Nice shots from Pure. Looking for the second, not going to land, but there was damage that was dealt. And that was just enough, right? Like that Killjoy utility, just enough to delay, right? Make them think twice about it.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of alluding to what I was just speaking about a moment ago, where, you know, they've got the confidence to stand behind that Killjoy molly and just take gunfights, right? Because they don't expect XSET's going to be wide swinging anything, but Pure finding a step of confidence of his own, wide swings it, takes the gunfight. Victor falls, who is basically standing in the middle of A main with no support whatsoever. So
It's fearless.
excellent start to the round, 5-on-4 now, and defensively, XSET postured decently to handle this B split that's underway now.
Spike down B.
You mentioned they were postured decently. I'd say it was far more than that. We're starting to see some life out of XSET as the flawless comes through just before that shock dart takes care of Pure. But again, for XSET, the important thing here is you're starting to see signs of life, right? Like they were in a great position there. The confidence from Pure to swing out in A heaven, to take that challenge and land the kill, and then really to have them walk into their crosshairs. That's important for XSET.
Yeah, and I think Pure, who played pretty darn well on Haven in the map prior, continuing, you know, he's 10-15. He's not as though it's just some standout performance, but that round in particular was for me where, you know, you take the ego challenge from A Heaven, you win your duel against the top fragger from Envy, collect 2 more with a brazen retake solo coming in through from Defender Spawn, basically.
Cool.
And as I say that,
Yikes.
Envy shuts it down. 2 huge kills coming out from Victor. Aaron able to trade one of them out, but now it's a 2-on-3. Still might go of his own, but Aaron in a really uncomfortable duel there towards Tree. Mummy's going to clean that up with a running Phantom headshot. Crashes with another. And here we are, map and series point, Doug, 12-4 XSET on the ropes.
Match point.
And there it wasn't, I know we've talked about him a lot, but I mean, shoot, dude, he's 22-10. How do you not? It wasn't the run it back there that really popped off and gave him a ton of kills and a ton of space and information, what have you. It was what he did before that, right? Able to land a quick double, and we did, and I believe it was Mummy who was right behind him, but either way, or excuse me, we did Aaron who was on the other side. Either way, the damage that Victor's been able to inflict upon XSET, the presence that's felt, it's just so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, XSET seems a little off kilter. You know, even just going for that mid-peak. Hunter's Fury doesn't find it smart, but we did, and Pure have pushed through A main now.
Yeah, they have. They've taken a ton of space away. They're going to push members of Envy back. And I like the aggression that we're seeing out of them while playing safe towards B, right? They have a ton. They have utility from Killjoy. They have Astra Stars. They also have a couple of members there, understanding that they can apply pressure that way on the eastern half of the map and still have safety in the middle and on the western side.
XSET now regrouping back towards the A side of the map. 3 players over here towards Catwalk for Envy. 3 players from XSET are here defense. So both teams reading this pretty darn well. But BCJ and we did both getting caught out. Actually, Pure will still collect 2, so this is now An advantageous situation for XSET. Now down to a 2-on-1 as Mame finds his first. 20 seconds left, though. No spike plant yet.
He has the Cosmic Divide. If he can get it down, he can really play around that ultimate and make something happen. Meanwhile, Aaron and Dwight don't have the same luxury, but you're seeing some of those stars come out. He only has 12 seconds left. He's going to have to go.
10 seconds left.
Mummy getting the spike down. Two players waiting just on the other side. Dwight able to take care of him. That was a brutal spot. That would have been absolutely bonkers had he pulled it off, but not going to be the case. Dwight going to get the defuse. XSET live to play another round.
Yeah, and I thought XSET really was kind of mirroring Envy's movements around the map exceptionally well. You had, you know, two players in tree room ready for that aggression, that push to come out, and despite that, you know, Envy came through, ended up getting the better end of that situation. Really, once again, the heroics of Pure kind of balanced things back out for the side of XSET and made that round manageable. And so two players survive on the retake, able to get at least, you know, they're not exactly flush. You've got a Bucky on We Did. But considering you've caused Envy to, you know, slip a bit economically, and so you've got a Vandal on Crashies, but, you know, not a whole lot to work with on the rest of the team. So this is a round that XSET will hope to come away with, Doug.
Well, they won't have much of a choice. We did with the Bucky, as you mentioned. Nanoswarm is used. He does have the run it back. But patiently waiting this out. No aggression from XSET early on like we saw in the previous round. Just waiting for Envy to be the ones to show first, potentially make a mistake. Great sidestep from Nanoswarm. He swings. He has to. He gets one. Dwight gets the second. That's pressure.
Yeah. And that is...
Oh, man.
Confidence now coming up from XSET, coming to bite BCJ in the face. Form of a sheriff, and Pure's got three players coming in this tree position against him. Thwifo is there for backup. Finds one, finds two.
Nice.
Gets his fourth on the round, and Thwifo, so many times in this game, we've brought him up just as being the seemingly difference maker for XSET. The impact frags on the round wins that they are getting. So huge from him today.
Oh, absolutely. And, like, you know, a lot of that was really built off of the pressure that they were able to apply on B. Right, getting those kills, and then instantly, as soon as those two kills come through, and we did swings with the flash, realizes there's no one else there, you see them all flip towards A, and Thwifo was able to stand strong, get 4 huge kills, to again, like, live to fight another round, live to play it again. Oh man, they sniffed it out. Oh no, this could be trouble for XSET. Pure has already dropped. Caboose with the showstopper, good on Weeded as well. Things have gone absolutely sideways with Thwifo. Once again, looking to answer the call, looking to be the hero for XSET. Gets a couple of kills, a couple of insanely important kills to keep the round alive. Looking for more. Yeah, baby, that's 3. The spike's down. Things looking really good for XSET again.
Drop the alarm bot and a turret to help defend. BCJ's pushed through B main to meet up, probably in defender spawn, yeah. So it's FNS with a minute to play with. Meandering through mid, just trying to set himself up for a clutch here, Doug.
No spike, and he does have the lockdown, but the other problem is XSET know where the spike is, so they're just going to squat on it. FNS is just going to have to, like, go nuts, land these shots, win the gunfight, but that's not going to be the case. BCJ finds him, disposes of him, and what's that now? 4 in a row for XSET?
Yeah, and a 3-piece coming off the back of a 4-piece for Thwifo. I mean, that round was so bad for XSET to open things up. They're like, okay, we're feeling confident. Let's go for some mid pressure. I'm going to pop, run it back. We're going to push out, pinch him at tiles. And yet, immediately, everyone's getting just murked, just decapitated, tossed aside, and a showstopper coming out from Caboose. You know exactly where Weeded's body's going to be.
Yep.
And it really just seemed like that was Envy's round locked up. And Jur and Thwifo have,
that's big,
a few times in this game just drawn things back in the favor of XSET. Considering how well Envy is playing, they need every bit of that air, and finding 2 of his own. Huge kills.
Man, that's so pretty. Man, that looks good. The spray transfer on the Phantom out of BCJ, cleaning up Envy. And yeah, they didn't have great guns, but again, Lex, like when you're down 12 to, what was it, like 6, Or no, it was around like 4, right? It was like 12-4, 12-3, something like that. You really can't afford to make mistakes, and you find yourself in a position in an eco like that where you can easily like fumble it, right? Like things can easily go out of control. We see him in attack pause. Lex, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm just gonna agree with you, Doug. I was excited there for Envy coming out of A main. It seemed as though two different players may have just been, out of step, out of position. Aaron resets behind the box, knowing he got seen, and him and BCJ both just chime in for collective dual frags apiece. In a different universe, Astra pun could have been made there, but I'll save you. In a different reality, you maybe lose that opening engagement. Aaron gets one sheriff shot to the face. BCJ gets shot in the back of the head, and you're in a 5-on-3 retake scenario. Envy really looked like it was just a matter of timing there coming out of A main. Instead, XSET, like you said, were positioned well enough to handle it, and they delivered on those kills, and they only lost one player, at the end of the day. So talk about mounting a comeback. You force Envy to attack pause, to rethink what they're doing a little bit here, and this is, I think, is already a nice response. Ooh, actually, as I say that, I say they're going to contest, but they're not. It's only towards A main right now.
Lex, it's free. They just got another ult in the hands of Crashies. They push through, and they're waiting for him with open arms. Mummy and Caboose are able to get a couple of kills apiece. They're going to flip the map, push over towards B. The lockdown's on the opposite side, so that's not going to be a factor. Pure looking to once again will his team back into a better situation, and so far, so good. Gets one with the frenzy. He has the operator. He's going to try to anchor back, and if you buy time for Dwifo, you may have a chance. There it is, but the Hunter's Fury looking to negate things. Dwifo takes care of Victor. Pure trying to stay alive, not able to do it. Mummy gets 3 to put XSET away. 13-8 for Envy.